and I'm Tom Ross, and I was at the discussions about can we rely on a clean and green image alone, which I guess was meant to address a question that says, is the image that we have, is the rhetoric of the image matched by reality or not? So there was initially a discussion about what we mean by clean and green, and I guess ultimately we discussed that when we were talking clean and green, it was more of an emotional marketing image that said what are we appealing to, and rather than clean and green per se, probably concluded it was that impression of excellence and superior quality but safety and reliability in the agricultural products from Tasmania. So it was agreed that this brand image was valuable in some way, but also that different markets would expect different things and have different quality values, if you like, and so there was a need for market research as well. There was concern then that the image that's being promoted about clean and green, or brand Tasmania, however you want to put it, is being promoted by various different agencies around the state, government, semi-government, and that there wasn't really a unified message, and that really if you're going to do this properly, if you're going to promote Tasmania brand, Tasmania product holistically, it's got to be done with a single voice and a single unified approach. An obvious candidate for that role would be brand Tasmania, until it was revealed perhaps that brand Tasmania is 1.5 people. A little bit difficult to manage all of Tasmania's produce, both food and vegetables, but also manufactured product as well under that. So clearly they're under-resourced. It was also agreed then that maintaining the image and the reputation would require work. It doesn't just happen, and there were various examples that could be given where the brand would be tarnished by events. I'm thinking the obvious one was the outbreak from Barilla Bay oysters, but we seem to have got over that. That's quite a good thing. We were lucky perhaps. So to maintain the image, you need verifiable systems. You don't need lots of test results, I think was one of the conclusions that said you don't test and say, look, we've got all these certificates, but you have systems in place that generally assure the safety and quality of products. And to do that, though, requires a shared vision. And the vision needs to be created, and we heard about vision in the sessions this morning as well, because it only takes one player or one participant in that product group not to play the game to bring the whole thing down. And so a lot of the reliable producers are a bit worried about technological capacity or skills of new players in the market, particularly small players. So there's a role for education. In talking about verifiable systems, it becomes obvious that you actually need some sort of assessment anyway to verify that the systems are working, but there was a very strong emotion that says we do not need more regulation. And so one of the outcomes, if you like, or one of the recommendations would be regulations are in place to try and make product safer for the public, to assure the quality, to maintain the reputation. And so maybe one of the outcomes of that is that the regulators who are involved in policing those systems actually need to be on side, so that they don't use carrot and stick mentality, they don't beat people over the head when they don't comply, but they try and educate them by saying this is why we have the regulation. So one of the key comments was, I don't mind regulations as long as I know that they're helping me to deliver a better product. And finally, there was a concern again about we don't necessarily have a single voice delivering what brand Tasmania actually means, but equally we don't have a single place to go when it goes wrong. And so one of the main ways of dealing with risk and managing risk and adverse outcomes is to have a crisis management strategy in place, so that if it does go wrong, you've got someone confident who can stand up and say, it did go wrong, we accept that, but these are all the systems we had in place, and in this case, this particular component failed, and we will make sure that it never happens again. So recovery from disaster requires confident messages and being able to say confidently, we had all the systems in place, we missed it this time, but we'll make sure it never happens again. And so I will stop with that. Thank you.